everybody, and welcome to another June edition of CalCo Community Chats. I am Jamie Joe, president of the Calhoun County Community Foundation, and as always, I'm really excited to be here with you tonight. We have some special guests that we're going to have on in just a bit to talk about some fun, exciting things that are happening in Calhoun County, as well as some important information that you might need to know about hurricane season. So before we get into our guests tonight, I, as always, have a few announcements to make about the Community Foundation. So first and foremost, the Chipola River Wayside Park renovation project. I wanted to update you all on that. We are moving right along. Of course, as you know, a few months ago, we had a few setbacks, but we are moving right along, and we just had some new tile work done. We have new bathroom stalls on the way. So our signage is supposed to be in this week. So lots of things happening. You can actually head over to our website, calhouncountycf.org/CalCo Parks to see some progress photos of that. You can see the before photos and some progress photos. So we're really excited about that. We can't wait to showcase that new park to you guys. Another thing is, a few weeks ago on another one of our lives, I told you all about some changes that we had for Florida River Fest coming up. And it seems as though it's basically a year-round planning process for that event. It does take us quite a while to get things in order. And so we're already working on 2026. And one of the fun changes that we have coming up, we wanted to announce tonight. So there's still some more details on the way, but just so you guys are aware, one of the things that we're bringing to 2026 Florida River Fest is the Florida River Fest Catfish Cook-Off. Now, I love my little graphic here. This little guy is so cute. So what we're going to do is on Friday night of Florida River Fest, we are going to have a catfish cook-off down at the river, and those tickets will be sold separately. We're going to have live entertainment, some fun stuff there. We're going to be able to meet the fishermen that are heading off into the Big River Classic, and then we're going to send them off to their captain's meeting in style and enjoy some amazing food. So we're going to have about 10 different businesses, not just restaurants, but personal folks as well that want to come out and try to compete for $500 in cash. So anyway, the Florida River Fest Catfish Cook-Off is coming up. We are so excited about that. That's going to be a part of Florida River Fest this year. And we just wanted to go ahead and announce that. So over the next few months, we're going to be announcing some more fun stuff, but look forward to that. We did have Miss Whitny Loughry here with the Town of Altha. She's supposed to be our first guest tonight, but we're having some technical difficulties getting her on the live. So while we're waiting to see if Miss Whitny can come on, we're going to go ahead and announce the Altha Independence Day celebration. So this is their third annual Town of Altha Independence Day celebration. It's going to be on Saturday, the 5th of July. They're going to have live music, food trucks, vendors, activities for the kids. There's free admission. So this is free for all citizens. It's going to be out at the rec park there in Altha. You can see the address here. And then, of course, the gates open at 5 p.m. The concerts will begin around 5:30, and then the fireworks are going to begin at 8:30. So if you did not make it out there last year, I went. It was amazing. I can tell you that fireworks show was one of the best fireworks shows that I've ever seen. It lasted for what seemed like half an hour. So amazing fireworks show out there. I know a lot of people in the community bring this up to us often and say, we need fireworks back. We need another big fireworks show. We haven't had one in a while. Altha is doing it, guys. This is where you need to be on Saturday, the 5th of July. And then I don't have all the details on this, but they are selling these t-shirts. They sent me this photo to share. So if you're interested in one of these t-shirts, you can head over to their Facebook page there or their website and reach out to them for some more information. So if you want to support the Town of Altha and what they're doing to bring back the big fireworks shows and the Independence Day celebration, head over to their website or their Facebook and ask how you can help. They're probably needing sponsors, vendors for the event, and of course, they're selling these t-shirts. But anyway, we are so excited. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's coming up. And I'm so sad that Miss Whitny could not make it on here, but if she pops on in the midst of our live, we'll bring her back on at the end. So moving right along, we are now going to bring on Mr. John Summers. And Mr. John Summers is the new Calhoun County Emergency Management Director. So welcome. How are you?
I'm great, Jamie. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being here tonight. So I know that you've recently taken over this role in the past couple months here for the Calhoun County Emergency Management Director. Tell us a little bit about your background in emergency management and what is the role of the Emergency Management Director?
Well, thank you, first of all, for doing this, Jamie. This is a great thing for the community to give people an opportunity to actually talk with government officials and know what's going on in their community. So thank you for that. So again, my name is John Summers. I'm your new Calhoun County Emergency Management Director. I started in this role on May the 2nd. So a little over a month and a half almost that we're into this. My background prior to this is in the law enforcement world. So for the past 15 years, I've been in law enforcement. Worked through a number of disasters and things that involved emergency management, worked with emergency management. I was over in Liberty County during Hurricane Michael at the sheriff's office there. And I think we all learned a lot through that process, that response and recovery. And that's really what piqued my interest in the emergency management world, and getting an understanding of that was dealing with that level of devastation and recovery from that. The last 4 years I spent at the Leon County Sheriff's Office, and there I was deputy assigned to the Special Operations Division. So we did all of the special event planning, operational planning, coordination, those things for all the big events that happen in Tallahassee, from springtime Tallahassee, FSU football games, hurricane responses, all those kind of things. We were the coordinating entity for the law enforcement response to those things. So we had worked hand in hand with emergency management at the county level and the state level over there for 4 years consistently. So that's kind of what led me into this. And I had the opportunity to apply for this position, which is much closer to home for me. I don't have an hour-long drive looking into the sun on the way to work and into the sun on the way home every day. And I miss the smaller community, that closeness, that direct connection that you have when you work in these smaller communities with the citizens and with your other responders. That was a missing piece in my time in Leon County. So God blessed me and gave me this opportunity to be here. So we're hitting the ground running right here at hurricane season. So.
Well, we're glad to have you for sure. And I know for those that may not know, I know if you're in the world of first response or anything like that, you think that everyone's familiar with it. But for those that may not be, that are watching or that may rewatch this later on, what is the role of an emergency management director within a county?
Sure. So emergency management, we often think about hurricanes because that's a threat that we deal with a lot here in Florida. But emergency management is really tasked with developing plans and mitigation and coordinating that response and recovery to any threat or hazard to a community. So it could very well be a hurricane or a weather event, or it could be a hazmat incident, or it could be a mass casualty type incident, some sort of terrorist attack or something like that. It could span all of those things. And the role that emergency management plays is not trying to tell any response agency what to do or how to do their job. It's coordinating that effort across law enforcement, fire, volunteer services, making sure we're all working towards the same goal. We're not duplicating efforts. And that way we're meeting the needs of citizens in an effective and efficient manner. So we can progress through that response and recovery to any disaster as quickly as possible.
And that's a very important role too. So most roles in government do have, very specific things that they do. And of course they're all important, but this is a very important role. So for those that, lived through Hurricane Michael and were in Calhoun County to experience that, it takes someone in strong leadership to be able to communicate effectively with state officials, national officials. Even if it's a smaller crisis, there's always those tiers that you have to deal with. So we're glad to have you on board and be able to carry on that of being able to take care of folks in Calhoun County. I'm going to jump right in. Everybody wants to know, what are we looking at this hurricane season? Can you tell us, and all the things that you've heard, are we supposed to have an active season, a mild season?
So the two kind of leading authorities, if you will, on predicting hurricane seasons, of course, is NOAA, which is the National Oceanography and Atmospheric Administration. And they control the National Hurricane Center and the National Weather Service. And then Colorado State University. Both of those entities are telling us that we should expect an above average season, which is pretty consistent with what they've said the last several seasons. Okay. So we're planning on an above average hurricane season. It doesn't mean that there'll be any direct hit to us, just a above average in that 14 to 19 named storm kind of number range is what they're saying.
Well, let's see. So if we're preparing for an overly active season or an above average season, let's see. I got some graphics here that you sent over. We'll put this one up. Let's start with this one. This is the vehicle emergency supply kit. So we're going to go through a couple of these graphics, and I'm going to let you kind of dive in and talk about how folks can be prepared. I know there's one about mobile homes, there's one about the vehicles, and there's just a general list of things that folks need to be aware of. So I'm going to let you dive in and explain this one a little bit.
Absolutely. So this is just a basic evacuation kit for your vehicle. And these are good things to have in your vehicle anytime, whether you're evacuating from a storm or just to have in case of any emergency. But you definitely want to make sure, basic things like, do you have a spare tire in your car? Because a lot of newer cars don't even come with a spare tire anymore. If you do have one, make sure there's air in it. Basic things like having flashlights, any kind of reflective stuff you may need if you had to change a tire on the side of the road, those kind of things. Making sure that you have a blanket in the event that you got stranded. Maps, because we all know, those of us that were here in Hurricane Michael, we know that cell phone towers, they came down. Cell service was inconsistent at best. So relying on the Google Maps and things like that may not be your best bet. You may have to go old school with a paper map.
I was just going to say, I'm going to speak real quick to Gen Z here and Gen A, and I'm an elder millennial, as I like to say. So some millennials, but for most of those below us that have never had to use a paper map or not aware that there was even such a thing years ago, be sure to get yourself a paper map and learn how to read it. Because if you solely rely on those digital maps and digital GPS systems, like so many of us do, I grew up with paper maps, and I'll be honest, if I had one in front of me right now, it might take me a few minutes to adjust to reading a paper map. So that is definitely something that you younger folks, be sure to get you a map. You can get those on Amazon, and learn how to read that before disaster strikes. So anyway, go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can get those maps on Amazon. You can get them at a lot of gas stations, rest areas, those kind of places. Well, most of the time we'll have map pamphlets that you can get. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're free, but just a great thing to stick in your glove compartment, have it in case you need it. And then the other thing I really highlight on there is just a basic first aid kit. You don't need to be able to do surgery out there on the side of the road, but having Band-Aids, gauze, those kind of things, just in case something happens, handy is critical.
All right. And then here's another one. Halfway full, halfway there. It kind of goes along with those vehicles, the vehicle preparedness here.
Very much. So halfway full, halfway there is a campaign of the Florida Division of Emergency Management, so the state agency. And it's really just reminding and preaching to people. We all know how it is when the storm's coming. 2 days out, there's lines at every gas station as far as you can see. So ahead of that, encouraging people throughout hurricane season to keep their vehicle at a half a tank of gas. A half a tank of gas will easily get you out of that danger cone through that evacuation area. So a half a tank of gas will get you far enough away to keep you and your family safe. So that's a big campaign this year from DEM, is the halfway full, halfway there. And it's just keeping a half a tank or more of gas in your car through hurricane season.
And this is all about being prepared tonight, guys. That's why we're doing this. I know so many of you will likely scoff at, oh, why are we don't need this. We know what to do. We're Floridians. But there's so many out there that do not know what to do. Maybe a lot of folks that have moved into the Florida Panhandle area, to Calhoun County especially, just the outlying areas there, that think maybe they're far enough inland. Oh, we don't have to worry about hurricanes. We're not directly on the coast. But for those of you that lived through 2018, you know that anything is possible inland. We are not that far inland. So that's why we're doing this, is in the sake of preparedness. You can never over prepared. So people like to pick on me and say there's a fine line between prepared and paranoid, but we're going to toe the line and take care of our folks here. Moving on. This is a big list. Now I know this is a disaster supply checklist. And I want to let everyone know too, all of these graphics that we're showing tonight, we have them on our website. I placed these on our website. I'll show you that link momentarily, but you can go there and click on these and they'll expand. You can download them and save them. So if you need to access these following our live tonight, they are on the Calhoun County Community Foundation website under our emergency preparedness link that I'll show you all in just a moment. But tell us a little bit about this list. And it looks like it kind of encompasses a lot of the same things, but if there's anything on here that's really important.
Sure. So I'm not going to obviously read this whole list, but this is a basic, basic kit that you should have for yourselves. Because the biggest thing that you can do in any storm is being prepared, because that now you're not relying on first responders who may be struggling to get to you, let alone get to you with some of these supplies. But basic things that I really would like to point out is that 72-hour window, the supplies that you need in your home for that first 72 hours post impact, if you decide to stay at your home and ride out a storm. We're talking the food, non-perishable food items, things that you want to cook with electricity and things like that. Water. So many people are well dependent here throughout Calhoun County. The power goes out. You may or may not have your well water accessible. So making sure that you have that 1 gallon per person per day. Medications ahead of time. We've come a long way with pharmacies and doctors when these storms are coming, with them refilling prescriptions ahead of time. So making sure you have that 2-week window of any prescription drugs that you have to have, on hand, because it could be a minute before the pharmacy opens back up. So even if you've got that week before the storm hits, it may be 10 days or 2 weeks before we can get pharmacies back up, depending on the impact. So making sure you have those things on hand. Contact lists is really another important one that I would encourage everyone to have. Cell phones, if we don't have a way to charge it, it will die eventually. And your cell phone service, again, may be compromised. But that way, if we do find someone, we're trying to get in contact with an emergency contact for you, having that written down somewhere in a wallet, in your purse, something like that, is a really important thing.
And on that note too, the phone numbers and the contact list. So I wanted to show something really quick here. This is from our Facebook page, the Community Foundation's Facebook page. If you'll see here to the bottom right, it's important emergency info to know. So we posted this last year in September, and I think it was prior to a storm that was coming in. But this has all of the links. It's also on our website. It's got all of the social media website links to places like the Calhoun County Emergency Management Facebook pages, the Sheriff's Office Facebook pages. We have, let's see, I think I have a little video here. This just shows you that you can go to our website and you'll go under our crisis. Let's see, it'll pop up here. Yep. So you're going to go down to crisis resources, and then you're going to click on emergency links. And it just shows all of these graphics that we're showing tonight. And if you scroll down to the bottom, it's going to show you here that you can click on those graphics and they'll pop up for you so you can see them a little bit larger. But when you get to the bottom here, we have dozens of links, and we've categorized those for everybody so that you can see them a little bit easier or find what you're looking for. So if there's information about the schools, I know so many times if schools have closings or weather delays or things like that, it's hard to find all this information or know where to go. This is everything we could think of in one place. All of the volunteer fire departments, the emergency personnel, whether it be emergency management, sheriff's office, police department, the schools. So everything is on our website under that resource, and it's also pinned to the top of our Facebook page. So if you guys are searching for links and resources, they are there. The full links are there. So if they're not clickable for some reason, you can copy and paste that into your web browsers and still be able to access those during a storm or following a storm. If the power goes out or the cell phone towers go down, oftentimes if you can still tap into Wi-Fi in some way, that's what happened after Hurricane Michael. Some places were able to get into Wi-Fi, then you could access, cellular service through Wi-Fi and things. So anyway, that's another resource that we have as well that you guys can tap into. So that was, you mentioned the phones and the contact numbers, and I just want to put that in there that you guys can go in there and find all the links to all the things if you need it. Let's see here. What's next? I'm going to add this one. I'm going to let you go over this graphic real quick from FEMA.
Yeah, so this is basically just a FEMA information handout, one pager there about basic hurricane stuff. And we're Floridians. I know most of this is common sense to most of us. But knowing your evacuation zone, we do not have any designated state evacuation zones in Calhoun County. So you may see things that are saying mandatory evacuations for zones A through, they go up to E now. We do not have any of those designated areas in Calhoun County. But what you should pay attention to is, are you what's the condition of your home and the type of construction of your home? So obviously mobile homes, older homes, maybe homes that have sustained previous storms and things like that, you may want to consider, do I need to try to ride this out there, or should I, contemplate evacuating? So that was something there. There's a one pager that she's going to have the link to there, talks about manufactured mobile home safety. And it basically gives you that outline of things you should be doing on an ongoing basis, right? Before a storm hits, and then day of the storm, things that you should do to keep you and your family safe. So.
All right. So lots of graphics here. And a lot of this is just redundant information, guys. I know that most of you know this, but there's always a chance that there's one or two that do not. And we want you guys to have full access to this information. So again, following the live tonight, you can rewatch this. This will be in our CalCo community chat playlist on Facebook. All of these graphics will be under our crisis resources on our Facebook page, or excuse me, on our website. And then again, those contacts will be linked on our Facebook page. Also, another important thing to know is shelters. Now, here's some information that you had given me about special needs shelter. Talk to us about the shelter locations in Calhoun County. And this one, I believe, is over in Liberty County.
That's correct. So there's two types of shelters, basically. There's general risk shelters. And the first two that we will typically open up when there's a decision to open shelters would be at Bluntstown High School, and then at the Mossy Pond Library Community Center. Those are just what they say they are. They're general at-risk shelters. So that's folks that just don't feel safe staying in their home, can go there, and it's a safe space for them. If you're going to make the decision to go to one of our risk shelters, things to bring with you would be any electronic devices that you want. Obviously, I can't promise you that we can charge those for you, but if you want them to be able to monitor what's going on, communicate with folks, or entertain yourself or some kids, bring those with you by all means. Sleeping bag or blankets, we highly recommend that. And then any sort of snacks or things like that you want to bring for yourself, and any medications that you need, whether it's an over-the-counter thing or a prescription thing. Bring those things with you if you make that decision to go to a general population shelter. So special needs sheltering is for those that are medically dependent. Either they have some sort of electrical device that they have to have power for. They need some advanced nursing care and monitoring. So our special needs shelter is operated by the Department of Health, and we share it with Liberty County, and it's located over at the new Liberty County High School. If you have to be pre-registered to go to the special needs shelter. So if you're interested in that, you can go to the Department of Health's website. There's also a link to their page on our county website, or Emergency Management County website, and on our Facebook page. That will take you directly to that registration. You complete that, and the health department screens that and ensures that you qualify. And then prior to them opening the special needs shelter, they will do what they call a call down, which is literally they go person by person, calling folks that are on that registry and seeing, are they planning to come to the special needs shelter? Are they planning to ride it out at home? Are they going out of town with family or whatever? So they kind of can gauge what they need staffing wise and equipment wise and that sort of thing.
And I'm assuming that needs to be done now. Like if you have any special needs that if a hurricane hit tomorrow or 2 months from now, you need to go ahead and get on that registry now, right? Like don't wait until the shelter's open or the storm hits. They're accepting the registrations at all times. Is that correct?
Absolutely. That is a year-round website, and once you're registered and on it, then you're on it. Unless you go in and take yourself off of it, or a family member does. Once you register, you're on it, and you can register any time of year. So we encourage folks that are, they have a home health care situation, that kind of thing, to make sure they're registered with the special needs registry. And we will work with senior citizens, Calhoun Transit, in terms of getting those folks if they need help getting from their home to the special needs shelter, or getting home from the special needs shelter. We can coordinate that with the Department of Health to help with that transportation gap if there is one.
Yeah, there's lots of resources available in Calhoun County. So if something were to go down, just so you all are comforted in knowing, like you see all these different divisions that are working together. Like he said, the senior citizens, Calhoun Transit, Department of Health, the Liberty County High School, the Calhoun Emergency Management. So everyone's going to come together in a time of crisis, and they're going to take direction from Mr. John here and work together and get everything done that they need to get done. So just be sure to not to panic and pay attention to community officials and what they're saying and where to go, and be sure to be prepared ahead of time so that way you don't get in a situation where you feel panicked. One more slide here that I know there's two more, but I know one was about hurricane alerts, but this one was about tornado safety. And so oftentimes in the area that we're located in, one of the biggest threats is maybe not always the hurricanes themselves. Yes, they come along, but the tornadoes that could be spun up from the hurricanes. So talk to us a little bit about the tornado safety guide here.
Yeah, tornadoes definitely are a huge threat because they're much more unpredictable than a hurricane, and they can be on those outer bands of a hurricane, or they can just even be with the summertime thunderstorms that we have that roll through. Big things, just like preparedness and having your kit and those kind of things, is think about what's the safest option for you, right? There may not be time to go to a shelter or to get in the car and drive somewhere when there's a hurricane warning issued. So think about where you are throughout the day, whether that's at your workplace or at home. Think about what your options are. What's the safest room? So typically we're talking about interior rooms, no windows, lowest floor of the building. Those are generally the safest places that you can be. The biggest thing, or another big thing with tornadoes, is because they are so sudden, be sure that I know we get thousands of alerts every day on our cell phones between text messages and Facebook posts and everything else, but make sure that your phone is receiving weather alerts that are sent out by the National Weather Service, or that can be sent out by emergency management here. And you can sign up for Alert Calhoun. Those we send out messages through that platform of weather watches and warnings that come through. But we also have the capability of doing what's called a push notification directly to yourself on a wireless emergency alert in the event of something like a tornado is confirmed, radar confirmed on the ground. We can actually push that message to phones in a particular geographic area. But you got to make sure that you are receiving those wireless emergency alerts, like the Amber alerts and things like that. It will come in that same format. Yeah, just knowing your space that you're in. Like I said, make sure you've got a plan in your mind at least. If you're at your house and there's a tornado coming, or if you're at work and there's a tornado coming, where am I going to go that's the safest place for me and my family?
Awesome. Well, and again, guys, we know, I can't reiterate enough. I know so many of you think that, oh, well, we've done this before. We know there's always something that you can learn. There's always something that maybe you didn't think of last time. And so we implore you all to think back on 2018. I know it's kind of becoming the distant here past, but think back on the things that you would do differently next time. God forbid we do have another storm of that magnitude. It doesn't take one that large to do some damage. So it could be something much smaller that potentially, has a big threat on Calhoun County. So we want you guys to be safe and be prepared. One thing I want to mention, just as we're talking about emergency management and the needs that may arise afterwards. So the Community Foundation has what we call the Calhoun County Community Foundation Crisis Fund. And this is a fund that's set up at Calhoun Liberty Credit Union in Blountstown. And we set this up following Hurricane Michael, the year or so after, once the foundation was founded. We saw the need that if something were to happen again, Calhoun County did not have an online portal per se that folks from outside could donate funds into to help our citizens. Whereas we were seeing on social media and the news that maybe Bay County, Gulf County, the surrounding areas had these websites that were set up that folks could donate into. And so we wanted to create something like that for our citizens. And this is up year round as well. You can donate into this at any time. You can donate on our website, calhouncountycf.org. But this is strictly for community-wide crisis. So this fund is not used for personal crises. If, for instance, someone's house were to burn down, that's not what this is for. This is for a community-wide crisis, such as a flood, a tornado, a hurricane, wildfire, anything of that magnitude, where we would work directly with emergency management, the volunteer fire departments, the local first responders. If they have a need or they see a need, we would be able to get them funding. We would also be able to feed people, set up a station for food and clothing or things like that. So that's what this is for. That is just something we wanted to put out there so you guys remember. I know if it's out of sight, out of mind, so many people don't think about it when we don't need it. And let's hope we never need it. But essentially, that's what we've done is create this insurance fund that we have for Calhoun citizens only, that if something were to go down, you guys can donate into this. People from other states can donate into this. And then we use it solely to help support the citizens if something were to go wrong. Is there anything else, Mr. John, that you would like to let folks know about this hurricane season or your office and things that you need support with?
No, I just want to, encourage everyone, make sure you have a plan, make sure you have your supplies, and monitor emergency management Facebook page, the sheriff's office Facebook page, and our volunteer fire departments. They're great sources of information. That's where we're going to be pushing out the latest, newest information as in the lead up to and immediately after any disaster. So I encourage everyone, monitor those, follow those. Because that's going to be the easiest source, the quickest source for you to get that confirmed information from your local officials.
And guys, again, if you don't have those saved somewhere, you can find that pinned to the top of our Facebook page. You can find it on our website. It'll have this little graphic there that says important emergency info to know. Underneath that graphic are dozens of links directly to the emergency management Facebook page, the sheriff's office Facebook pages, the fire departments, the Altha police, everything that we could think of in Calhoun County. Florida Highway Patrol is on there, WMBB, WJHG, national news channels. Everything is on there that you can link to quickly. So if you need to save that post, please go share it and then send it to a friend so you know it's in your messages. Hold on to it. Again, just remember it's pinned to the top of our page there so you guys can follow, like he said, the emergency management page. That is critical for you guys to be on there and follow that. So thank you so much again for being here with us tonight. Does anybody, I know there's a few of you watching, does anybody have any questions before we say goodbye to Mr. John tonight about emergency management, hurricane season, or anything like that? We're going to hang tight for just a second and see if any questions pop up before we say goodbye to you. I'm going to put this back up here. This is their Facebook page again. And while we're waiting to see if any questions were to come in, I'm going to add this up here. This is how to find all of our information on social media. So all of our stuff is Calhoun County CF. It's very easy to remember. Our website is calhouncountycf.org. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube at Calhoun County CF. So if you guys are needing to look for these links later, this is where you can search there, and then we'll redirect you over to the appropriate pages. All right, Mr. John, looks like we don't have any questions tonight, so you got off lucky. Oh, wait, did one pop in? Let's see. Michaela, I know the flyers with the information are on the website, but can you post pictures on the foundation page as well to make it easier for people to find? Yes, Michaela, we can do that. That's not a problem. And we will also, in that post, I will tag emergency management's page, so that way they will have it. Megan Todd says, emergency management will send out notifications via Alert Calhoun, correct?
Yes. So we will send out Alert Calhoun messages, and we'll also be posting, public information on our Facebook page. But we'll be communicating both of those through both of those means. So,
all right. Anybody else? All right. Thank you so much, Mr. John, for being with us. We hope we don't have to see too much of it this year, but under the right circumstances, of course. So thank you again for being here. We appreciate all that you do, and we will talk to you soon. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye. All right, guys, we do have Miss Whitney back with us. She was able to get on here, so we're going to see if we can have her join the live. Let's see. Miss Whitney, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can. Yay, we have sound. Sorry, guys. We had some audio issues earlier. So we've got is it Whitny Loughry, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Whitny Loughry with the Town of Altha. And she's going to tell us a little bit about their upcoming 4th of July event. Now, I know I went over this briefly in the beginning, but I want to give you the opportunity in case there was something I missed as I was rushing through to talk about it.
That's fair. Well, not knowing what you went over, I'm just going to go over some brief details. And then, of course, any questions at the end, everyone feel free to ask. The biggest thing is on there. Gates actually open at 5 o'clock. The fireworks do start at 8:30, depending on how dark it is. Naturally, we want a good experience, so we might, if it has to get pushed back to like 8:45, we will, but it just kind of depends on how quickly the sun sets. We're really excited. So this is Altha, specifically Town of Altha's third year in a row putting on this 4th of July event. Last year, we had in attendance roughly 650 people, and for us, that was like a pretty good turnout. We're hoping to obviously get more people this year. The firework display itself went about 25 minutes last year, and we're really hoping to make that a little bit longer this year as well.
It was amazing. I did tell them that. I was there last year, and that was one of the longest fireworks shows that I've been to, but it was amazing. Like some of the best fireworks that I've seen. So y'all don't want to miss out on the fireworks show in Altha.
Good. We're glad to hear it. As far as music, so we have 2 big pavilions. One will kind of be the main stage. We have 2 band booked currently. One is called Magnolia Dust. They're going to be doing like general popular cover hits, and they'll be playing for exactly 1 hour. And then our next one is called Free Admission, and they are a local Christian rock band that will be playing. And then we have 1 more hour left. We are still hunting 1 more band for them.
All right, you guys heard that. If you know some bands out there or musicians that might want to entertain out at the Altha Independence Day celebration, I've got the information here on the screen for the Facebook page and their website. You guys can reach out to them. They're looking for another band. So share this and let all your friends know that are really talented out there to contact those folks in Altha.
Yes, absolutely. And we actually, while that shout out, we have a second pavilion where we're really still hunting local artists for 30-minute sets. So you don't have to be big, you don't have to have played a lot. We really just want to showcase any type of inspiring artist that's roughly local in our area. So please reach out either way, Facebook or the website, to let us know. As far as vendors, we're definitely still seeking more, whether food vendors or like local merchants. A couple that we have booked so far for food is we have Buddy's Seafood, Hey Sugar Cotton Candy, the Crazy Coffee Lady, the Icebox, and the Empanada. So I don't know if you all have tried those yet. I've had all of them except one, which is the Empanada, and I personally cannot wait. I've heard fantastic things about them. As far as like little shop vendors, we have Sweet Little Blessings. They do like hats, cups, little knickknacks. We have Pink Zebra. They do handmade soaps, wax melt, and like room spray. And then last, Forever Links, which is permanent jewelry, like bracelets and anklets type stuff. For the kids, we're going to have your face painting, blow up slides. Cash and card. I feel like that is a major question every event ask, and we want to know. I definitely recommend everyone try to bring cash if you can, but before the actual event, if you follow our Facebook page, we will actually have what vendor is going to accept what. So, you know, we try to encourage them all to at least do like Venmo or Zelle, but I know knowing that before you attend is extremely helpful. As far as restrooms, we will have indoor restrooms. There'll be 3 different locations at the ballpark. And then shade predominantly will be pop-up tents. We're encouraging everyone, please bring a normal size umbrella, a chair, and then even if you have like a larger umbrella just to kind of stick up to get out of the sun, because that was the only thing we did kind of struggle with a little bit last year. It was really hot, and there are a few shade trees, but not that many. So if you can something yourself, we definitely want to help people stay safe and stay out of the sun as much as possible.
Now, I do have a question. I know last year, speaking of the heat and the kids' activities, so last year they actually had water hooked up to the inflatable slides. Are they going to have water hooked up again this year? And if so, not that it slowed any child down at all, but should they bring like a towel or change of clothes so that they can prepare to, if some parents may say, traveling from far away, be prepared that your child may be on a water slide?
Absolutely. We are still trying to find that out. If we are having water, definitely be prepared, but same thing. We're still expecting a few other vendors to confirm, but follow the Facebook page and we will definitely put that out there.
Awesome. And then I do want to bring on here. So you have these t-shirts that you were selling, correct?
Yes. So there's two things. If you're wondering, what could I do to be involved? What are y'all still looking for? Two things predominantly. One, that 30-minute local music, if you know of anybody, and then our t-shirt sales. So all of our shirts are $10 a piece. This is actually last year's design, and then we're coming out with a new one, which will also be selling at the event. They will be $10 as well. All the proceeds goes towards the event itself. So yes, please reach out to us. They'll tell you the sizes. I think we have a few in every size left except I think like a triple X or something like that. But yes, if you would love it out the shirt, that would help support us.
Yeah, and guys, please support these events. So I know so many times I've heard, just because I'm in that event space of an organization in Calhoun County, people saying, oh, we need this to come back, or we need to do this. I wish we had a fireworks show again. Altha has a fireworks show. So everyone go to Altha and support the fireworks. Support this event. Let's get it to be a huge event again, and bring your families. Like, this is a fun family event. It's actually on the 5th of July this year. So it's not going to interfere with anything that you may have planned on the 4th. You can go on the 5th and have one more day of fun celebrating our independence. And it's just a good little hometown festival to enjoy. And I really want to encourage folks to get out there and support these events. We have so many in Calhoun County throughout the year, and it's just, the way that they're spaced out. I want to mention this really quick. So we have our event in February, and we chose February because there was nothing else going on around that time. It did not interfere with any other local events. Then you have, I think, the Wildflower Festival in April. And then I think Main Street does a Magnolia Market, I want to say in May. And then, of course, in July, you've got the Independence Day celebration. And then as you go throughout the year, in October, you've got Goat Day and the Counter Carnival. And then back in December, you're back at Christmas on the Square, the Christmas parades, the Altha Christmas Festival. So there's almost something every single month of the year in Calhoun County for folks to enjoy with their families. And we're just so grateful for all of those that put these events on. We do an event, and we know how hard it is to do. And so if they're needing vendors and they're needing support as far as talented artists and things, just at the very least, share their Facebook post, share this message, to call your friends. If you can't make it out there, help them promote it. We're just so thankful that you guys are doing this. And so I just really want to encourage y'all to do that. So it looks like we've lost Miss Whitney again. So let's see here. It's just me, guys. And I'm going to close this thing out because we've been yapping long enough tonight. But I appreciate everybody for being here. And Miss Whitney, thank you, if you can hear this, for being on with us tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Summers. And guys, we're going to take a break in July. We're not going to have a CalCo community chat. We're going to be back in August, hopefully with some school leadership to talk about what's coming up in the new school year. And thanks again for watching. We will see you guys next time.